get it. This is way too gross. Who would even think of doing something so disgusting?
James.
Usually, I take the whole of October to juxtapose multiple horror games and help decipher what the best Spookfest is for your Halloween night. However, for year 3 of Pliktober, we're on year 3 of these, there is one game, and only one game, I want to talk about. One game that has consumed my life for the past 3 months, Dead Space 2023. This video will not explicitly spoil anything beyond the first couple chapters. Dead Space is the third-person shooter. It controls smooth as butter and has a rewarding combat and puzzle loop. The original has a little clunk, but the remake models its controls and feel off of Dead Space 2. Which, if you've been on this channel for the past few weeks, you'll know is one of the best feeling games of all time. It offers intense gore and body horror, intense psychological horror akin to the violently oppressive Silent Hill 3, and it is the only other game besides Bloodborne that I can think of that features eldritch horror. For those new to the franchise, you can also expect a story that fucks you up long after you beat it. If you want a surface level review, take from this video that Dead Space feels good, offers a variety of horror, and it is well written. For those of you that want a little bit more, let's go ahead and dig in right now. Those of you familiar with my tastes know the importance I place on the sandbox. So let me break it down. There is a stellar single-purpose sandbox at play here. The plasma cutter is a jack-of-all-trades precision tool, much like Halo CE's M6D. It's got killer range and can shift from vertical to a horizontal firing mode, which is handy as there are 2 key rules to Dead Space's combat. Keep the enemies as far from you as possible, and chop off their limbs. The Ripper excels at crowd control, as its blade stuns enemies in place while slicing them apart. The Pulse Rifle is an ammo stockpiling grenadier rifle. Pepper enemies from a distance or deal decisive damage with mines and grenades. The line gun can delimb multiple necromorphs at once over a wide horizontal spread. It truly excels at that spatial control with its laser trap setting Alt-Fire. The flamethrower is arguably my favorite weapon in the game, as it deals cumulative damage to all enemies regardless of armor or your own shot placement. It's also well suited to the smaller, swarming types of enemies, and the monsters that can spawn them. The contact beam is a power weapon best suited for the end of the game. It's basically the sci-fi equivalent of Snake Eater's M63. Lastly, there is the Force Gun, which is rapidly becoming one of my favorite video game shotguns. It ties directly into the game's peeling system. You see, an enemy's health is displayed by how emaciated they are. A plasma cutter will take longer to cut through skin, muscle, organ, and bone, rather than just bone. With the Force Gun, you can flay these fuckers in real time, until the only thing you need to cut through is bone. Anytime one gun complements another in a combo, I'm happy. For no reason. It also has a gravity well Alt-Fire that holds multiple enemies in place. Stasis is probably the king of complementing weapons, since it slows down your enemies so that you can be more accurate and target weak points. Kinesis allows you to pick things up and throw them, which can lead to a lot of cool opportunities. Both these abilities are integral to the puzzles as well. All in all, Dead Space's sandbox is very well thought out and captures a lot of the single-purpose type of balancing that I really like to see in games, where each weapon matches an enemy, a situation, or combos really well with another. Nothing is necessarily better than the other, everything has its purpose and its weaknesses, and I like that.
This is some of the worst putting I have ever seen.
The entire game takes place on a derelict mining ship called the Ishimura, and I do mean the entire ship. The bathrooms, engines, bridge, and everything in between can be visited at any point, which is warranted because all of the side content that they've put into this. You could just go where you have to go, but you could also find new weapon upgrades, story plots that influence your dialogue and endings, or maybe just bonus content that unlocks cool shit. I won't say that the ship feels alive for obvious fucking reasons, but it does feel like it's aware of your presence, and it does not want you here. A real-time event director will tailor enemy encounters, scares, and set pieces at random, making sure that backtracking always feels engaging. It's cool. You actually feel like you're trying to survive on an abandoned spaceship.
I fucking love Tame Impala. Hey, Super Cop, how many people you think are in Tame Impala?
I don't know. Maybe 4?
It's just one guy. Isn't that crazy? Wait, hold on. Let me pull them up.
I mentioned already how there's tons of bonus content for you to discover, but there's also an overall feeling of progress. On your first playthrough, upgrading your armor and weapons keeps a sense of forward momentum, but it goes so much further than this. Replaying to catch missed side content, or unlock that one door you missed, or to experience New Game Plus exclusive content. A new unique set of armor, text and audio logs that only unlock on your second New Game Plus playthrough, and coolest of all, an ending only unlockable in New Game Plus. I played through this game 3 times in the span of 2 months. Saying that Dead Space is replayable is an understatement. As this game is a remake, it's worthwhile to compare it to the original to some extent. The one key positive I want to bring up is the ADS section. While Dead Space 2 is what I'd consider the cream of the crop when it comes to 7th gen console game design, the original proves that the 5th gen era, it's a good game but fuck that one part trend, was still alive on the PS360/Wii platforms. I even found this guide from 2012 coaching people through this sudden difficulty spike that is solely responsible for my inability to complete the original. The remake has a more active section that uses Dead Space 2's brilliant zero-G controls. The entire game is fun now, with no roadblocky parts. I can't stress how easy it is to jump right back into New Game Plus because of this. Another thing to note is the difference in character models. Let's talk about Nicole. The remake uses a Scanifer actor, Tanya Clark. Some people had an issue with this as it's a big departure from the wax-modeled sexy PS3 lady of the original. I personally don't have an issue with this, as if we look at the progression in graphics from the original to the sequel to the remake, there is a clear goal of achieving a photorealistic representation of the actor here. I'm a little bummed out about Kendra though. Like, I understand that the 7th console generation was insanely horny, ramping up sex appeal to 11, but the complete removal of body-based sex appeal, don't get me wrong, the actress is still gorgeous, so I'm not upset or anything, feels like a major 180. I found these renders of Kendra. Just Kendra. I couldn't find, renders for the rest of the cast, but damn. Also, renders for a 7th gen game For those of you too young to remember, back when games couldn't fully depict an artist's vision of a character, these things called renders would be made in order to give the audience a better idea of what the intended look was. So I'm happy I found these, especially for one of my favorite supporting characters in all of gaming. If you guys know where I can find more of these for the rest of the characters, please let me know.
Make me a sandwich!
So yeah, this game is great and surpasses the original. But why is this the Pliktober pick? It's scary. Some say that the action elements remove the horror from the game, but Dead Space will make you jump, make you uneasy, and have lasting psychological effects. Like I said, I have been spamming this game non-stop, and I have had nightmares. Dreams of previous lovers, resurrected loved ones trying to eat me, and disturbing scrawlings on my surroundings. This game achieves true horror, and the way that it sticks with you, in your head, is proof of that. So this Halloween, try a game that will terrify and engage you. Play Dead Space.
Just be warned that there are some soft locking bugs and weird glitches that can happen if you're playing this game on a lower end PC or on Xbox Series S. I haven't heard of anything going wrong on PS5 or Series X, but yeah, there are some technical issues. I don't feel like they ruined the game in any way, and I still believe that this is worth it, but just keep that in mind.